start of an upward push?
That's a very good question. I would say the situation we're in now is quite different to where we were in 2011, although there are some significant similarities. Back in 2011, you had a US economy that was weak. You had a US deficit that was around 10% of GDP. Now, the situation now is very, very different. The US economy is growing, and the deficit has come down quite significantly, in part thanks to the sequester. So the underlying strength of the situation now is much, much better. But there is still a problem. I would differentiate massively between a failure to agree on the budget, which acts as a kind of super sequester. It hits GDP, but it also brings down the deficit even more. And the problem of failing to raise the debt ceiling. If that happens, then we're into a US default. And that would be particularly scary for the markets, even now.
Now, what if, worst case scenario, Nick, what if we get to the 17th, nothing happens, and the debt ceiling is basically breached? What happens if we have this protracted problem?
As far as the gold market's concerned, I think you've got a sort of bipolar distribution. The market at the minute is saying that this isn't a problem, it's going to go away. But if the market's wrong, you could see gold prices moving quite sharply. We don't think you'll get a move back to the sort of 1,900 and something, but in certain scenarios we could easily see prices moving up to around 1,700 next year. The issues in the US are not the only thing that could support gold prices. You've got the possibility of fiscal crises in places like Japan. You've got the possibility of greater political tensions in the Middle East. So there are scenarios in which gold prices could go up quite quickly. And certainly if we move from a world in which the markets are betting that there isn't going to be a US default to one in which it suddenly happens, it could move quite quickly.